There's my special guest. All right.
Hi.
Yes. So, welcome everyone. I'm going to ask that you guys immediately share this out. We're having a really great interview tonight, really good conversation. If anyone's ever felt any sort of unworthiness, there's something that's going on and there's something that needs to be done. So, we're going to have a really good talk tonight. So, welcome, Miss Victoria. Miss
Hello. Hello.
Victoria Single. Listen, I'm not gonna say a last name. We're gonna call you Victoria tonight, okay? Little John, Little
Yes.
John, Little. All right, Victoria Little John. I'm about to call a singleton, y'all. So I have Miss Victoria Little John with us tonight, and so where are you from?
I'm from DC originally, and I just live on the East Coast.
Okay, all right, all right. So yes, so tonight I'm going to be asking her a bunch of questions. I'm going to ask that you guys share this live out so that we can actually share her amazing story this evening. So we're going to jump right in. Unworthy, unworthy, unworthy. What does that word really mean? What do you consider that?
Um, for me, it's not knowing the value you hold, not um, yeah, not knowing the value of your personal, of your body, of yourself, the individual that you are.
Right. Yeah. That about sums it up. So tonight we're gonna go into her story, and I know that she's a little nervous about telling her story. Is this gonna be the first time that you shared this story with anyone
Yes, publicly,
publicly?
absolutely. What?
Yeah, yeah. So guys, please feel free to just share this out so that we can so more people can hear her story. So I want to state that the story she's going to share tonight is not one that she's really proud of. However, what she knows is that she's here on this earth for a reason. And the story that she has to tell, she understands that her story is going to help so many people who have no clue of what to do next, especially in the space of feeling unworthy. But she's been moving forward and she's now in a position of being out of these situations that we're going to talk about. So it's like the story is being told because she must help others, serving, 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 and helping. So let's jump into this story. Once upon a time, once upon a time, the thing that you did that you were not so proud of, you did what? You were what we call
You want to just jump right into it?
no, we're gonna
Okay.
jump right in. We're gonna jump right
Oh
in.
my goodness. Okay. I just feel like, all right, so we have to kind of paint the picture a little bit.
Okay.
Um, so I mean, okay, I guess we could jump right in and then we can move back.
And then we'll go backwards. Yeah, exactly. That's what we'll do. Right.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. I'm Victoria and I am an ex catfish.
Ooh. Oh, there, you said it. It's out. It's out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag. So tonight we're sharing her story, ex catfish. No, she doesn't want to be known as a catfish, as an ex catfish, but the story is real and the story must be told. And the easiest way to tell the story is to tell the story like it is or like it was. So let's talk about let's let everyone know what that actually means. I mean, we've seen the TV show Catfish, right? But what does that mean? What is happening and what is happening when that is in existence?
So it's crazy. I started before the TV show came out. So I didn't know nothing about that. It was a little offensive to me because they doing it to have fun. I'm doing it to stay alive. So it was, I didn't have, well, okay. So to answer your question, what a catfish is somebody who uses somebody else's picture or uses their own picture to deceive someone else and how they really look.
Okay.
So For me, I know I was suicidal as a child. You know, I grew up and I wasn't seen, I wasn't heard. So when the internet came about, it was like MySpace days. Bebo and MySpace and Tag, and somebody that I met on the computer was like, "Oh, I'll, make your case ready. They'll do my page for me. Do all the things that you do to a MySpace page." And I had a bunch of pictures of classmates, but I didn't have any pictures of myself. I had one picture, the picture, and that was in it. It wasn't even of me, right? And so when they changed the page, I guess they used the picture that was most there. They thought it was that person's picture. And so they put another person's picture on there. And I didn't even know that this was the thing you could do. So I'm like, oh. And so I just kind of left it there for a little while. But of course, my classmates was like, what you doing? What are you doing? Like, so I took it down. But then I realized that, oh, you can put somebody else's picture. Like, it don't have to be you. So I found another picture. And I asked another friend, oh, okay, can you send me some pictures? And she was like, yeah, sure. And because it wasn't a thing back then, nobody was tripping off of it, but it grew to 7 years.
Mm-hmm. So this catfish story that we're telling, it didn't actually start off with you just like taking a picture. It was something that popped up, and now all of a sudden you just left it there. You were like, okay,
Hmm.
okay. So now that the picture is there, tell when the catfish things happens with most people, it happens because what is going on inside of you at the time when you decide to take on on the persona of another person.
So for me, it was my safe haven. I wasn't safe at home. I wasn't safe at school. So when I was on the internet, this was like a safe haven place for me to be myself. And so people would tell me, oh, you don't sound how you look. Or when I talk to them as me, they would say, oh, you sound like you're cute and light skinned. And I would be like, okay. So I wanted to have a picture of a person who was light skinned. I thought that light skin was pretty because I was dark and bigger and four-eyed, that I wasn't attractive. And then in my real life, I only ever got teased, but I didn't realize that I had low self-esteem and people could see that on me. They could see me like cowering. So I didn't know that I was just repelling people away from me. I just thought people didn't like me and I looked like flubber. So internally, it was just either it's suicide or I pick up a new life.
Mm, wow. Well, I'm glad you didn't do suicide. I'm glad you didn't do that part. Okay, so let's get a little deeper into the story. So now there's a picture up, and you're feeling a certain way about yourself, and then you how do you make connection with someone else? At how do you start to make connection with someone else?
So that was easy. The internet had just came out. Um, you start talking to somebody. That was back when it was like singular. You remember that? And so it was no, there wasn't apps or what do they call it, smartphones and camera phones and stuff. It wasn't any of that. So it was literally me getting to know you. My picture is up. I said that's me. Your picture is up. You said that's you, and we have conversation. Um, and because just talking, just on the phone, you really get to know a person. So you're really getting into that person. So I would get to know a bunch of people, and they would get to know me internally. Um, but then that creates this issue because now they actually like the person that they're talking to, but now I have to say, oh yeah, by the way, that's not me. Like we don't even
Mhm.
look alike at all.
Okay, so can you tell us, if anyone's just joining, she's telling her story, and this is a very exclusive story tonight. I'm going to ask that you guys share the live out, and also, will you please feel free to click the arrow at the top of the screen and give Miss Victoria a quick follow. I want you guys to stay connected to her. She's telling her story tonight because The story must be told. And she's telling the story of something that she's not proud of. But all at the same time, she understands her assignment. She's now helping others to not be in this predicament. So her story must be told. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, you can put them on the screen. Feel free to once again share this out and give her a quick follow. Okay. So what I want to know is this person, this persona that you took on, what did they look like? Exactly. I want to know, what was their hair look like? What did this picture of the person look like? Hair. I want to know skin tone. I want to know like body shape. I want to know like, tell me who was this person and what was their name?
So you try to get me in trouble. No, okay. So basically the opposite of me. So skinny, athletic build, light skin. You know, she didn't have light eyes, but she wore contacts, so she looked like she had light eyes, and so that just kind of played on to it. And so I would just build stories around the picture. If she was at the party, then that's me and my cousins. We had so much fun last night, boy. You know, if she in the bed, then I'm tired, y'all. I'll send you this picture real quick, but I'm gonna go to sleep. Like whatever the picture was, that's what I built a story around.
Mm-hmm.
But that took me out of my reality, and so I was able to feel like I was living in this through this picture.
Yeah. Okay. So she was total opposite of you. And how did you maintain her so much? You just told us a little bit about that, daytime, nighttime. So did you get on the phone with people and you start, how many people did you talk to? Wait. Let me go back. Oh my gosh, I have so much to ask. How long was this? I think everyone needs to know. How long were you doing this catfish thing?
So it was about 7 years. It was about 7 years steady. Maybe like 6 years steady, and then like the seventh year was spotty.
Wow. Ooh, I want to know how you stayed so consistent for 7 years. My goodness. Okay, now help us understand, how many people did you communicate with all of this throughout these 7 years?
I don't know. It was a lot. So if y'all out there, I'm sorry. Okay, I just want to let you know this. but
Okay.
but it was a lot. Because it was females and men. Because and so that's where I got this like persona or this. I identify as sapiosexual because that is I'm attracted to the intellect. Because I never, in real life, I never got into a relationship until I was 28. So
Wow.
um, this was my relationship. This is what I did as a teenager. From a teenager to a young adult, I was this other person. So um, that it was all like imaginative, the things, the relationship, and people wanting to talk or being possessive over me or whatever the case may be. It was a bunch of stuff that happened, but people felt like, oh, we're in a relationship because we talk every day or something like that. And then as technology got better, it started to get harder to do. Or I would do all kinds of crazy stuff, cover my camera and be like, oh, I don't know, it's not working. Can you see me?
Oh my
And be
goodness.
dead serious, like in character, like, can you see me? I'm doing everything. I done unplugged it and everything. And so they like, man, it's all right. It's okay.
Wow.
It was, I'll talk about actress, okay?
So did you ever want to be an actress?
I did, actually. That's what I wanted to do as a child
Well, you
because
had your
it
shot,
takes you
huh?
out of it just I needed to be out of my reality. And that wasn't the like when I say this, I'm laughing, but I didn't want to play on anybody's heart or anything like that. I wanted somebody to accept me. My ultimate goal was to speak to somebody. And I've made friends. I had friends who I met as a catfish and stayed around. Like was like, no, I mess with you. You are cool as a person. Like maybe we can't be together, but like you're my friend. But then I had other people who were just like, oh man, you lied. If anybody ever lies, then I can't talk to them. So, I dealt with that. And then it was hard because I was addicted to wanting attention. I needed attention. I needed to feel acceptance. I was addicted to going after this acceptance. But then the crash from nobody accepting you makes you feel abandoned again. So I just kept triggering myself, which meant I wanted to go back and get more acceptance after I got abandoned.
Mm. Okay. All right. I begin to understand why it ends up being several people, because something happens and then you just have to kind of go back and get that fix again. Wow. Okay. So because you knew you couldn't be in person with them because then you would be exposed, like how was that for you that you could not make a physical human connection with the people? What was that like?
Um, I think because I lived in my head so much. So as a child, I got beat. And so as a child, when you're getting beat, you can't go anywhere but in your head. So to go in my head is normal. For me to zone out and not even be here is normal. So you playing in my imagination with me, we are here. We would have phone sex. So we would do all the things that you can do over the phone. So I felt like, oh, somebody's here. Somebody's calling me, talking about me, talking to me. I used a different name. They would call the house. My mom would be like, she don't live here. Knowing that that was me. Like she knew what I was doing, but she didn't want to condone it. So she would just like, hello, mom, please. But that 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 was my highlight. I was on punishment a lot. So I would come home and I was supposed to be doing homework, but that was being on the computer. That was my fix of like getting somebody that wanted to know about my day and wanted to talk to me about whatever. And it was usually, sometimes it was people in my area, but sometimes it would be people in different states. I talked to
Mhm.
somebody in Canada one time, so it was just whoever um whoever I talked to, they were playing into the fantasy, and so I lived there. So I was getting all the things that I needed.
So I was going to ask you, how was it in your household, like the other people around you? How, like, did they actually know? And so you just told us that your mom actually knew at some point, but she just kind of wanted to dust it off. Like, so was it like she left you to play with your friends, like to play with these other people? Was it kind of like that? Like, leave me alone, go play with those people?
No, it was just, she was the typical single parent mother. She go to work, she tired, she come home, she trying to chill. So we, as long as we're not doing nothing wrong, we don't get talked to. So um, I guess she started to get whim because people would always call and ask for someone else. They would ask for Devin or somebody else. They wouldn't ask for Victoria. They very rarely ask for Victoria. And so after a while, she just with an attitude would be like, here, like give me the phone or something. We never spoke about it. Like she knew what I was doing, but she knew because I, she may have started. If somebody called and asked for Devin, she wouldn't give them the
Okay,
phone. But then
wait,
after a
Devin. Wait,
while,
let's go back because Devin is a wait a minute. Devin is a male name or female?
it's unisex.
So you were a man too?
No, I was a woman, but no, I was a woman. But I changed my name. Um, well, I had like a real long name because I was Mexican.
You were Mexican. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, wait. I need to know. Okay. So the voices. You had all of these names. The voices. How did you disguise your voice? Were you using any devices or were you just talking a different way every time?
No, no, I was one person. I was one person, but she was Mexican and black. She had a bunch of siblings, which her story was like parallel to mine. Like I have a bunch of siblings, she has a bunch of siblings. And the person who it is in real life, she has a bunch of siblings. So, but she's not Mexican, she's white and black. But either way, so I grew up around Latinos. So I had a little, like when I get sad, I start to sound like a little Mexican or something. So I just already had that like voice. People would be like, "Are you mixed?" And I would be like, "Yeah, yeah, I am. Yeah, Rodriguez is my last name." Like, so that's the only one I know how to spell. I didn't know how to spell. I couldn't spell Garcia, so I didn't know. At this time, I was I was a kid. So like it just slowly started to morph. And so this picture, I created a whole life. It had family members. When we talk about the extremes, the family members had Facebook pages. Them drinks are still up right now. You probably go look at them. Like, and so then
Wait, wait, wait. You
those
wait,
pages,
wait, wait. You had to create family. You
yes,
oh my gosh. Okay, wait. So doing during this catfish time, you had to create other people that they could connect to. So you were doing all of this work?
yes, which is crazy because
Wow.
I don't want to do none of this stuff now. But yes,
Right. Listen, your social media needs to be popping. If you were running several pages, it's hard for the average entrepreneur today to run two social media pages. And you're telling me that you were no excuses in your future. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right.
yes.
Okay. So what happens when they go to the other pages? What do they need to see? That makes
Exactly
all
right.
of
So this is why I talk about just narcissism and all of these things because I had to keep the lie real. And so that takes you higher on the narcissistic scale when you're only focused with yourself because you're gonna get caught. So that's why I'm like healing can bring you down on that narcissistic scale because I saw like in hindsight, I saw how I moved up and I was just focused on keeping this lie. Like I'm gonna do whatever for this lie. So she had brothers. They had girlfriends. They had to have friends on there. Then I had a time when I go post on their page because their page can't be just empty all the time. So they got to randomly say stuff in their life. And then she had multiple sisters. So they had to have friends. They had to do stuff. And it was just, it was just a huge lie. Okay. It was a massive, just production. That's what it was. It was a movie.
hmm. This has to make for a very good writer. So I do know you are currently writing a book or two.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait for your books to come out. I cannot wait because these stories that you're telling us, and even though you went through this for a reason, and there's a deep story in regards to all of this, but that has got to, in my mind, make you a very good writer. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So we've got all of these different pages. We've got these different personas that you take on. You have these different names. The question on the screen is, how do you remember the story you told each person? How do you remember?
So, so I kept the same. So Devin has the same story. She's doing the same thing. Everybody get the same stuff when we're talking about Devin. When we're talking about
No, the comment on the
what?
screen. Why couldn't you just be an only child?
Because she really had. Okay, she really had. She really the person in the picture. I knew her, and she really had siblings, and she was well
Oh,
known, low key though. So I had to like okay, because it was crazy. It was crazy because people would comment. Because at this time, I liked girls. So people would comment. I was on like, there was this link, Downy link for like gay people. And I had a profile of her on there. And she was also on there. So people would be like, that's not you. That's not the real you. And I would literally fight with these people like, that is me. Like, how you going to tell me who's me? Like, really crazy. Like, really crazy. Okay. So but I'm trying to keep up this lie. I'm trying to do anything possible to keep up this lie. This is all I have keeping me alive at this point. Like I come home and I immediately go to the computer and I'm getting on Downy Link. Then it moved to well, I guess I stopped kind of getting on Downy Link and then it just moved to like phone. Yeah, I don't know. This was a while ago, but okay. So I know Downy Link for sure. I met a bunch of people there. Um, Okay, yes, I think that I only dated one guy
oh man, the
in the
phone
very
is cutting
beginning with
out. Oh
her
my
picture.
goodness.
Oh, can you hear me? Okay.
Okay.
I only
Yeah.
dated one guy with her picture but everyone else was a female. So they came from Downey Link. So the whole time I was on there, I had to like build up because I had to like build up this family for her because people I didn't know who knew her and who didn't.
Wow, that has got to be scary. Okay, okay. All right. I know we're telling like some very comical parts of the story, but can we go a little deep right now? Let's talk about you would run home and you would run to the computer because it was the place that you would go to communicate with people. You got communication, you got love, you got they were just talking to you and showing you some affection.
Mm-hmm.
What else was like what was happening? Oh, why was there no other affection around in your real world when you go back to think about this space? How can you
Mm-hmm.
right now help someone else who's in this space? What were you dealing with, and what is an average person dealing with at this point in time as to why
So
this
what
is
I was
going
dealing
on?
with, what I was dealing with is single parent. My caregiver was going through depression and had to take care of two children. So she did everything that she could do. And then when she came home, she had to zone out in herself. She was raising me through her trauma. She hadn't healed yet. So she didn't have that to give to me. She just didn't have it to give to me. And so I had tried to attempt suicide at 14 before this happened. It didn't work. And then I found this though.
Wait,
This
what kind of
thing.
suicide did you try that didn't work?
I took a whole
What
bunch of her
what what kind of
pills.
suicide?
I just took a whole bunch of her
What kind of
pills.
no,
I,
I'm not going to ask what kind. I don't give anyone any ideas. But you took how many pills did you take?
I probably took 2 bottles. I took 2 bottles. I passed out. Woke up like, man,
Two,
what
wait,
happened? It
wait,
didn't work.
wait. Two bottles, two
Yeah, I didn't
two
know if
whole
it was
bottles,
because
like
I'm.
30 pills, 40 pills,
Yeah,
50. How many was in the bottle?
yeah.
How many?
It had to be like those are like regular 30 pill bottles. So it had to be.
So
I took
so
at
did you
least
take
30
them one at a
pills.
time or you took a whole bunch? Did you take one at a
I
time or
took a
just
whole
a
bunch.
whole handful?
I took the whole bottles and I drank some water and I wrote a little note in my
I was gonna say
composition
water
book.
or juice.
I took
And
some
then you did
water.
what?
I wrote a letter in my composition book and then I woke up. So it didn't work. I don't even remember passing out.
I'm glad it didn't work, but my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that that was, I didn't have a safe place. So that the reason why I did that in the first place is because I didn't have a safe place. I didn't have when I went to school I got teased for being fat. When I went home and had to fight for being fat, like you mad at me because you think my knees hurt. It's crazy. So then I came home and I would get in trouble because they called my mother and she's at work, you know. So I didn't have a place to be safe to like be myself or to just surrender. So I didn't want to be here. It was nothing holding me on earth. And so I tried to leave. It didn't work. Then I found this and it was like, okay, um, it was cool till it wasn't. And I didn't realize that I was hurting people. That my intention wasn't to hurt people or to get people in their emotions or anything like that. But people started to actually like who I was. And so in my head, well, if you like who I am, then you should know who I am. But then they weren't attracted to me. And then I didn't have any self-worth. So I didn't know how to even look attractive. So I remember I met somebody one of the girls, she was like, well, I like you anyway, so let's go out. So we went to Uno's, I think. She took me to Uno's and we had dinner and everything. But I pulled up, I had straight hair, bone straight hair. I didn't know to get no bump. I didn't know. Nobody said anything. I thought I looked cute because my shoes matched my shirt, but I had on a hoodie. So when I pulled up, I looked like her. And she was like, so I wasn't even allowing there to be a chance because I didn't know even how to put myself together as something like what I was telling them. I'm
Okay,
feeling it
so
on it.
hey Dia. Now listen, tell me, let's move further into the story. This thing is going on for many years. How many times did you get busted and what happened when you got busted?
How many times did I get busted? I mean, I don't know how many times I got like caught up, but I was really slick. So um this is again what I talk about when I talk about the narcissist. The narcissist will have you thinking that you tripping. So I was gaslighting. I'm like, you
They'll have
tripping.
you
What are you
thinking
talking
what?
about?
That you're wrong?
Yeah, that you're wrong, that you're bugging. So um it was like if I started to get caught up, I would be gun ho on this is not, no, you're tripping, like whatever it is, so that they would question it. Um and then I don't really think I've had a like aha type of thing. I know in the seventh year there was a there was a girl. We were on FaceTime because at this time this is the seventh year, so this is like more recent. And we had known each other throughout the whole like catfish journey. And then I moved to North Carolina and she lived down there. And she lived in Charlotte. I lived in Greensboro, and I kept like was always busy when she wanted to drive up there. But we were on FaceTime. And so I had the FaceTime on, but I was holding the phone like this and I was like sitting back. And so she, because we talked so much, she wasn't like asking to see my face or anything. But I like low key like put the phone, like was holding it, and it kind of like went on me. And so like that's the only time that I could think of like getting caught. I like hung up real quick, and then she texted me and was like, I saw you, and she was like, I knew it, and that was it. But other than that, I don't think it was a time where I like got caught.
Okay. All right. So we have some questions. What changed your mindset? When did you decide to be 100% authentically yourself? And that's like us now moving into the story. So as you guys can see, the topic, the title today is From Unworthy to Understanding Self-Worth. And we have Miss Victoria, oh my gosh, I keep calling you the wrong name. Oh my God, Singleton, right?
Little John. Little John.
Little John, Little John.
Like the East Side
Why do I
Boys.
want to change your name? Okay, I'm giving you a fact. I'm giving you a fact. A catfish name. Oh my gosh. Okay, Victoria Little John. Oh my gosh, I like so know your name. Okay, so you were feeling unworthy at one point in time and you develop these personas. And just kind of recapping the story, guys, she ended up being on Facebook and or one of those platforms. I don't remember which one you said, but one of the social platforms she ended up being on, and a picture was up there by mistake and she left it. And then all of this just started to kind of just spiral out of control. So she created all of these different personas and just began to be someone else all the time. So now fast forward, this goes on for about 7 years. You get all the way to this end point. Bring us up to speed. How did all of this begin to end and why?
Okay, so boom. It was December 2013. And okay. I mean, I guess we could. All right, so I'm gonna tell you the actual story. So what happened was I was talking to this girl that I had used to that I started talking to her earlier in the catfish stage. And she had went off to the army and like, life happened and then she came back around. And so we were just kind of cool. We just talk every once in a while, but I wouldn't ever see her. And then in my real life, I had started to like meet friends. I was working at I think Nine West and Foot Locker, and so I met a girl, and then she introduced me to other people, and they introduced me to other people, and so now I have this little clique, and I'm actually starting to live and be seen in my real life. So I stopped giving time to the old person, to the catfish person, but I was still talking to this girl. So what happened was I was still using it, but not as much. So what happened was one of the people that I met, um, she's my bestest now. She came over to my house. I was the only one with an apartment, so they wanted to throw a kickback. So they threw a kickback, And the okay, so we were planning to throw a kickback, and the girl that I was talking to was in she was in town. She wanted to hang out too, but and so she told me her cousins had came back in town, and they came back in town from school, and that they were going to this, they was going to this kickback. And then my friend was like, her girlfriend is coming back in town, and she's gonna come to the kickback. But like, I'm not putting two and two together, so it ended up being the same people. So they all came to my house, but the girl that I was talking to didn't come. She ended up staying because she said that she wanted to sit and talk to me because I didn't want to go with her to the kickback that was at my house. Crazy, right? Um, so what happened was I was holding my phone, I was holding my tablet like just out, and she kept calling my phone. And so the other girl that I had never met before that came to my house for the kickback was her cousin. So when she saw her picture pop up, she was like, they like low key was like, put two and two together. So then they started like taking pictures, like, hey girl, come take a picture with me, and like took a picture and like sent it to her. And so I was afraid to like call her afterwards. So I ended up calling her like after they left, and we talked, and she was like, well, I want to see you. Like I really want to see you. And so I went. She lived in probably like 45 minutes away from me. So I went out to see her, and she was accepting of me. Um, so it was cool, especially because we had already had this foundation of just like knowing each other for a while. But when she came back to my house, um, and it turned out to be cool because people who I worked with, they were like, you know, they kind of knew the story, and they were like, text me if she don't like you. Okay, so people that I was with, they were like, text me if something go wrong, if she don't like you, and they like texted me to see if everything was okay while when she got to my house. And I gave her the phone because we were on good terms, and I gave her the phone and like showed her the text message, and then she went through the rest of my messages, and she saw that I was talking to somebody else too, or somebody else had like was calling me boo or whatever. And so she got really mad, and it was a big thing. Um, and she eventually, me and her, we kept kind of talking, but she literally had me like call all these people and tell them that I wasn't the girl. Um, and so that kind of stopped it. I felt like, okay, well, I have somebody that actually wants to see me, so I don't mind stopping it. And so I kind of used that to push myself forward, like out of it. But then me and her broke up. Um, and so I I started to go to counseling, and so that was probably the 6th year, and then I was just spotty in and out that last year.
I know, why is the Wi-Fi acting up? Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, let's hope that Wi-Fi will give us enough to get a little bit more through this story. So at this moment in time, just bringing anyone up to speed, she's telling her story about the point in her life where you guys have seen the movie, the series Catfish, and we always see the story from the other perspective, the person who is being catfished. And we don't really see the story from this perspective from a person who was actually living that life for 7 years. She's telling her story right now. Victoria is an author, and she's about to release a book, and she's going to be sharing a lot of her life in regards to just things that have occurred. And her position right now is helping others to get through these things, helping others to understand that feeling unworthy is only, it's a space, and she helps people to get out of that. So the story that she's telling right now is not for her to be attached to being a catfish person, but to helping you to understand the mind of a person who was going through some things, that committed these acts based upon the life that she was living. So at this moment in time, where are you, and how do you actually help other people? How did you get to this point, and where, just talk to us a little bit. about getting out of that space and getting to where you are now?
Um, yeah, okay, so let me see. Where I at now, I know I saw another question. Do I identify as catfishing? No, I don't. I started this before the catfish came out. The show of Catfish came out. Okay, I don't know. I'm trying to charge my phone. The phone's trying to die, but all right, I just hold it. Um, I started that before the show Catfish came out. So Catfish, the actual show, was kind of like offensive to me because for me, I felt like this is my safe haven. This is the only place that I can actually be myself when I'm being this way with this person. I'm able to give my full personality, whereas in the house, kids are supposed to be seen, not heard. What happens in this house stays in this house. At
Oh,
school,
Wi-Fi.
I
Do better.
ah, is it work? At school, I was teased, and at home, I was, neglected or abused. So this was where I was seen and felt affection. It wasn't it happened by accident. It wasn't a plan, but it was something that I got addicted to.
Mm.
So
Okay, so
you said
how
where am I
what
now?
can be done to prevent someone else from doing these types of things? What can prevent someone from doing these types of things? Anything,
Um,
anything you think of. The people around you, the things that you do, how you behave, what can you think of?
yeah, so I think that one thing, people having just one person that sees you is so important. Spreading love to your neighbor is so important because it's people. And we look at kids and we think, oh, when they get older, we'll do X, Y, and Z, or they don't need such and such right now, but they do. Um, it's just loading. Or we'll have people that feel like, we'll have people that feel like
Guys, follow,
teenagers
give
are
her a
just,
quick follow. Give click the arrow at the top, guys, and give her a quick follow. She's going to be telling more about her story, and I want you to share her with anyone that you know that has gone through any of the things that she has expressed, because she's already moved out of the space of being this person. And the reason why she can show up today is because she's already moved past a lot of these things. So please share her with anyone that you know that needs to hear her story. She's told us she has attempted suicide. She has just been in a very, very low place, and she's been able to move herself out of that. And she helps others to not have to live that life. So back to you. I was just kind of stalling because the thing was spinning, but I also want you guys to really give her a quick follow as well. And then, make sure that you definitely connect with her because she has a book coming out very soon. Hope there's a part two of this because it's an important topic. It sure is. Very important. Yeah. Okay. Back
yes.
to you, Victoria. Little John.
Um, yes. Okay. So I think that the biggest thing is feeling unworthy because not only do I see it in people who actually use somebody else's picture, but how many of us slim down our faces or have to, it used to be the app where you pinch yourself in. And so that is a form of catfishing too. That also stems, the root cause of that is not feeling worthy. So my message is, how do we feel worthy? The reason why we're stuck, the reason why we get stuck in life and can't get to that next level is because we don't feel worthy. And then I started to go to counseling, but I couldn't find a counselor that was culturally competent. So everything I said, all the traumas that I went through, they wanted to call somebody, and oh my goodness, and I'm like, lady, please just let me talk, like just. But growing up as an inner city youth, like these traumas are typical. Like this is normal. So I need you to put your big girl clothes on, and like listen to this trauma without being triggered yourself as a therapist. And I just couldn't find that. So I started to just heal myself. And so I got into a lot of self healing holistic practices, um, changing my environments. So, okay, so a perfect kind of example would be, you know, the movie, what's it called? Matilda? Is that it? Yeah, Matilda. The movie Matilda, where she read a lot as a child. Her family was like the type of family that's just in front of the TV. They real kind of shisty individuals. Um, but she was like the reader and stuff. That was me. So I was awkward. I was the reader, and my family liked to do other stuff, whatever that may be. They just did something different, and so I just felt lost. And so Matilda felt that same way until she found the teacher, Miss Honeybee or whatever her name is. Um, so I feel like the cure to that is finding community that actually accepts you, but then also doing the work within yourself. So I had to do a lot of neuroscience work because I couldn't figure out.
Internet,
Oh,
please.
it's okay. Is it working? Can y'all hear
Okay, a
me?
little. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I had to research a lot of neuroscience because I had to figure out why I was addicted to this picture, like being this person. Like I literally couldn't stop. Like when I would get down, um, I had to I would had to go log in and get some attention, essentially. And so I realized that the brain, that's dopamine. The brain is releasing dopamine in these high situations. Uh, okay. The brain is releasing dopamine each time I do this. So that's how I'm getting addicted to this. And so now, bringing that back to now, I realize that everything stems from a trauma. So we get trauma bonded to things. I was trauma bonded to this picture. So I had to connect. I had to keep coming back to it. We get trauma bonded to people. We get trauma bonded to jobs where we need this security because our trauma, we something happened in our childhood where we have to be secure. So I have to stay at this job no matter what. I thought I had to stay this person or I had to stay using this picture no matter what, because I hadn't got dopamine from anywhere else, not a healthy level of dopamine. And so the last thing I would say is meditation. Meditation releases it. Balances the dopamine that's released in your brain with serotonin. So that allows you to kind of balance out those levels and not want to go after that thing that you're addicted after.
Okay. This is good stuff. I'm glad that you found the resolve. I'm glad that you understand exactly what needs to be done. And I really appreciate like who you are today, how you've been developing programs and you're writing your book and all of these things to help others that have not gotten to the point to where you are today. So, I just want to publicly tell you, I'm proud of you for being able to move out of that space and to graduate into the amazing, beautiful person that you are today. And I'm so excited about the fact that you're using your past to help others who are in this position. And there are a lot of people who are in this position currently using being a catfish as a thing and they're still there. They don't understand what to do and how to get out of it. So you gave a couple of tips tonight. And I just want to let you guys know that those of you who are watching, I want you to follow Miss Victoria Littlejohn. Click the arrow at the top of the screen. And I want you guys to stay connected to her. Someone knows someone who has done some of the things that she's done, gone through some of the things she's gone through, and they need to be connected to her. We all have a tribe, and our tribe is found in the people who need the old person that we were. We all go through things, we learn things, we experience things, but at some point we develop into a new person. We learn how to cope, and and hopefully most of us will be in this position of being on the other side like she is right now. So share her with anyone that you know that is in any type of, what we use the word depressive state, right? Depressive.
Mhm.
What other states would you state? What would you say that people are
Just
in where you were?
feeling stuck.
Hmm.
When we feel stuck, we do extreme things. Um, when we feel abandoned or neglected, you know, whether and so I for me, my thing was catfishing, but somebody else might um be very promiscuous. Somebody else might be into a lot of street stuff that to get that dopamine, So
Hmm.
people are doing different things, but the root of it is I don't feel worthy.
Yeah. I love how you made sure that we understood that it comes in different forms. So it's the same thing, but it shows up in many different ways in different people's lives. So once again, because our live is going crazy over here, and I want to make sure that we are still able to have you on the screen without it just making you disappear. I just thank you again. So make sure that you guys click to the little arrow at the top to follow Miss Victoria Littlejohn and connect with her, share her with someone else. Go to her page, and at some actually her book has pre-launched. So if you guys want to actually go and grab a copy,
Oh,
and you can do that now. And when the book comes out, you will be the one of the first people to get a copy of her book. She's also going to be having some other pieces of information that you guys can get to quickly help someone who's in this type of situation. So she's already out of it. And I thank her for being here tonight, allowing me to interview her to share her story with someone who actually needs to hear it and who needs to connect with her. So I thank you again for being here tonight. And we're going to get ready to close out. So
thank you
that's
for
pretty much
having
it,
me.
guys. Do you want to say any closing words?
I just want to say, no matter what you feel unworthy from, whether it's you don't feel worthy enough to go after your dream job, your dream person, or simply go after the next day, the next minute, you absolutely are worthy. You absolutely do matter. And I know sometimes we do extreme things. The, the extreme things can be, I don't feel worthy of this, so I'm going to go get under this. Uh, am I messing up? Okay. The extreme things can be I don't feel worthy of this person, so I'm gonna go get under this person. I don't feel worthy of being by myself, so I'm gonna go get under this person. So don't like take the catfish part lightly. That was a little right. I had to get my mind right to get up out of that. But any situation that we're in that we feel like um, that we're coping with something, we have to get our mind right to get out of it. So I hope I can help you all get your mind right. Follow me, and I promise I will give you all my secrets.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. We're going to get ready to close out. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Okay. If you want to continue over here, we can. You want to continue having any conversation over here about
Oh,
anything? Because I was looking the other way. So hello, everyone that's over here. We were doing a dual broadcast. So we were giving a little attention to another platform as well. So some of you are watching from one platform or another or another. There were three platforms we were streaming to tonight. But this story that Victoria has been telling has been just a part of who she has been. And once again, as I say it over and over, nothing she's proud of, but we all have a story to
I hear
tell.
feedback.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, I turned it down some. Is that
Okay.
better? I don't hear it
Yeah.
anymore. Okay. So yeah, the story that that she was telling tonight, everyone has a story. Every single person has a story. And some of us are really nervous to tell the story. We are a little on the embarrassed side, but at the end of the day, telling that story will change someone's life. So if anyone is watching and Miss Victoria Littlejohn, I've been calling her all types of names all night as if I really don't know her name. I really do. If anyone needs to connect with her, make sure that you connect with her on her Instagram. Make sure you connect with her on her Facebook. And if you need to DM her to find out what she actually has available to assist you with getting through all of your stuff, now is the time. There's no time to wait to say, oh, I'll contact her in another week or two. You don't know what will happen. Like she's been expressing how, when you're in this type of situation or in this predicament, you do things that you don't really think about until maybe later on. And we want you to be here. All right, back to you.
Yes, I just I want to normalize it, and I felt so bad and so much shame around, like especially when it came out and it was a thing. So now we can put a word to it, like, oh, I'm catfish. Like I didn't want to talk about it. Now I've told people, especially after doing it, I've come up to people. I've been at events where I walked up to the speaker and was like, "Oh my goodness, you moved me. I used to be a catfish and that, da da da." So, but I haven't actually been like, "Hey guys, ex catfish here. Just wanted to say, like, I haven't hit anybody with that." So that was it was nice to express my story, but I also feel like what I'm saying, I don't want it to get taken out of context because the extremes of what you do when you don't feel worthy, and you don't have the information, the knowledge. So that can be, I, I'm broke. I don't have no money. I'm gonna go rob these people. Like I don't feel worthy enough of going and do something else, and I don't have the knowledge of something else to do. So I'm going to do extreme things to get what I want, and so that it happens. It's so common. So I want to put light to that using my extreme story, but also hopefully somebody else maybe not in such an extreme position can feel that um I don't know, peace, or feel a sense of community with me, and we can heal together.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah, this has been it's been fun, and it's been you have an interest in life, and despite all of this, I mean, this is interesting. I cannot wait to see the book. I can't wait to hear you tell more about the stories, because I know that we didn't have a chance to capture the true essence of everything that went on throughout time. There was someone who was on the broadcast, and they were saying, "Is there a part two?" They were like, they need to know part two.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
goodness.
if you don't mind, we can come back and we can share a little bit more, and just connect you with whoever needs to hear your story and needs to just be with you so that they don't make mistakes. Yeah. And I
Yes.
I hope you know that you've prevented someone from doing something tonight. We don't know who they are, where they are in the world, but we know that someone is going to be able to either have listened to it or to share the story with someone else. That's what's going to happen. So someone's life was saved tonight. Someone had a better understanding of it tonight as well. When these stories are told, the way that I look at it, let's think about this. There may have been someone who was actually catfished on the that was listening tonight, and they didn't understand what was going on. They could not understand the mind of a person who would do that. But to watch a cute little face and to see your personality, and just to see who you are right now, and for you to tell your story and to tell it so deeply in regards to where the depth of it comes from, someone was able to understand something tonight. They were
I hope
able to
so.
make light of it. Yeah.
Yes, I hope so. My biggest thing is the people. Like, there are so many people, even still in my camp, still probably can see this, that have been catfished by me. And it's like, I don't, like, I want to stress that it wasn't me trying to catfish you, but my trauma needed to do that. And so, this is me. I didn't know me back then, but this is me. So I would hope that we're all in the space of forgiving, especially if a person does come across this and they like, Devin, I know Devin. So
Yeah.
I don't want it to be. I don't want any hard feelings. Like, I have already self-prosecuted and been through. I already lost a lot and had to deal with a lot because of that process. Like, I was messing my own self up. constantly being abandoned and doing it. I was doing it to myself. So anybody else being mad at me for it, I just want, I would hope that you just have compassion for that situation and another situation that you see that is similar, and maybe you can shed a little bit of light because now you know what was truly going on in me.
Mm-hmm. Man, I can't wait to see for you to tell me about the comments that people will end up DMing you. Guys, send her a private message. If you want to make a comment on the feed, then you can, but send her a private message and tell her what her telling her story tonight meant to you. I know it meant something to someone. Yeah. So does it feel like a release since you've kind of like shared that story publicly? Like how do you feel right now after just releasing all of that to the world? How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel really good. I'm fasting this week, water fast. So I really feel clear in my message and like what I want to say. Um, I do feel a release. I feel a sense of like, who gonna stop me now? Like, because I finally got on this path where I've always wanted to help people. That's always been my heart. But I was, I had this trauma holding me back, and I dealt with that. And now I'm trying to show everybody. I have been trying to show everybody how I healed myself, but wouldn't tell nobody what I was healing from. Like, okay, you know
Mm,
about trauma, but I mean, what's your story? Like, this is my story, honey.
yeah.
Like, I'm healing from big trauma, big lies, big explosions. Just, I remember walking into, it was a guy, the only guy that I catfished. It's crazy. He works for Revolt now, but so I, we were in Best Buy, and I took a note and a picture of the girl. I took a note and basically was like, I handed it to him and walked off. And so I was pretty much like, hey, this from your girl, and gave him the note and walked away. And it was, I don't remember what it said, but it was pretty much like, that's not me. The girl that just left with me, or something like that. I don't even remember. But like, just all of these experiences, all of that neglect and all of that, you know, just try your luck. Like, okay, I know I don't look anything like this person, but I'm gonna show up and see what happens. And I didn't do that too often because I don't like rejection. But the couple times that I did do that, it was like, okay, I have to deal with all of these emotions by myself again, because it probably happened before, so I have to deal with it again. And so now being to this place, I'm really proud of myself because um, one, I feel like it would help people. Two, feeling unworthy um, is something that you can't see. So it's like, how do you even know that that person is sick? So people walking around, I had a job the whole time. Like I was, but that was it's, people will call it a sickness. I want to say it's a sickness, but now that I have a full understanding of mental health and what it really is, it stems from trauma. Most things stem from trauma, and people are unbalanced. So I can't even say it was a sickness, but I would say I was ill, because I hadn't healed yet. So if you haven't healed, you have to be ill. So I was ill with, and I needed to get my mind right. I needed to come down off the narcissistic scale. I needed to stop focusing on just me. You know, like I would do whatever to keep me good. But then when you said it was hurt, I would be like, oh, that wasn't my intention. But I did all of these things. So I had to have awareness. I wasn't aware in that moment. I didn't know how I was affecting people, and it's an eternal effect, uh, effect. Yes, it's an eternal effect. So I couldn't see it. And then I had people opening up to me in a world where we don't open up. And so then they're like, oh, but you lied and I told you all my secrets. So I'm very happy that I can be this person authentically. I can show up and not care what anybody thinks and still go after what I've always felt was my purpose. I think I was supposed to go through these things so that I could help other people. So I'm happy that I went through it. I'm happy I'm not there anymore because it's stressful. Okay, with a K, it's stressful.
Yeah, I say that we are where we are supposed to be, And all of the things that have happened, as you said, tonight for us and not necessarily just to us. And I know that that's a hard thing to say when, such harsh things have happened in the past. It's hard to even use that statement. But at the same time, what can we do? And we just have to understand that we're now going to be in a position of really helping someone who it could be worse for before it gets to that point. Yeah. Yeah. It's all weird, but listen, I'm happy that you are still here. I had to make light of the whole situation with the pills because I always wonder about that. I'm like, when people are ready to do this, like, how does this really go? Is it like a one at a time? Like, oh, I'm going to try this as but yeah, we have to make fun of something. So, we laugh so we don't cry. And I'm happy that you're here today. So happy to see your lovely face today. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. My biggest thing is hurt people hurt people. So I'm so compassionate. And that's why I call myself a compassion coach, because I know that I did stuff totally wrong, just totally wrong. But I was only doing it because I was hurt, and I was just, please help me, just anybody, please. And I was just begging for somebody to come save me, help me, protect me. I never felt protected in my life. I've never felt protected. I feel protected now because I depend on something that's bigger than me. But before I connected with God, I never felt protected. Like I could get it at any moment from anybody. Like, so people who go through that, and then that's like my story. Oh man, it talks about parenting, why you need to heal as a parent, why positive parenting is so important. You keep beating these children because you don't know how to deal with your emotions. That, like, it's so many aspects to my story that raises what I did, right? So doing all of those things will raise a person who maybe they're not a catfish, but maybe they have sex with everybody, right? Or maybe you get what I'm saying, like something else. Like that was my coping skill. The coping skill is going to be different, but the problem is the same.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head when you said that earlier. And it's so true. And I think that's the hard part because now you're trying to identify this thing, but it's showing up so many ways. It's like, okay, what is this? What is this? What is this? Yeah, it's all the same. And if people are not looking for it and they're not in a place where, oh, let me go find someone who's having trouble today, no one's gonna see it. There's just it shows up as something else. It shows up like you said, as a promiscuous person. But if no one looks any deeper, they don't really understand that it comes from a very, very deep space. Yeah.
Yes, a
Yeah.
lot of us don't feel worthy, and some of us haven't even sat down to realize that that's what it is. So I just hope
Right.
that I'm creating this network, the healing network, and I just hope that the things that I'm bringing, the visions that I'm now finally able to say, hey, I'm the face of this, because I couldn't do that as a catfish. I didn't feel worthy. So now that I feel worthy to say, hey, this is what I'm doing, I hope that it helps so many people in any area that they feel unworthy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this has been amazing. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me and with everyone else. And I guess we'll tell everyone good night at this point. So see you guys next
Yes.
time.
See ya. Thank you. Get my book. Get my
Yes, yes. Click the link down below. All right.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.